Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and we're out here today with three probably the heaviest hitters in the 22 long rifle precision rifle game. And why? Well, selfishly, I need to make a decision. I need to decide between the three. I've narrowed it down to this three: the Voodoo, the Rimx, and the Curtis. But I decided, hey, let's shoot them. I'm going to talk to you guys, talk you through these, the pros and the cons. I'm not going to pull any punches. For those of you who may be looking at getting one of these or stepping up into one of these, this should help you. This is going to be kind of a side-by-side. No, we're not going to compare accuracy because that really comes down to ammo and the barrel, which can all be selected by you or the gunsmith. All three of these hammer. We will shoot some at 50. Just going to show you that. They're at different levels of being clean or dirty. So I can promise you that all these shoot, even if they don't right now. We're gonna shoot some groups at 50, and then at 100 is when I'm gonna talk about the gun, the pros and the cons, and we'll do all three of them. So let's get into it. All right, first on deck, the Voodoo 360. You guys haven't seen this for a while, but it is back. So we're just probably gonna shoot two 5-shot groups. I'm gonna send one like barrel warmer, Fowler, whatever. And then we're gonna shoot two 5-shot groups, and then we're gonna mix it up and go to 100. We'll probably run through all the guns. Just kind of make this real fast. I'm gonna shoot all my cold bore sighters up top. So pros and cons of the Voodoo. Well, pro is it's one of the slickest actions, especially this being a 360, a 60-degree action. It's one of the slickest actions I've ever felt. I mean, this thing is stupid. It is the action feel that I compare all other actions against. I mean, it is crazy how nice this feels. You know, so that would be a pro. Probably like the #1 rifle in precision rimfire for the longest time. Probably still are. Of course, you know, there are some cons. We kind of got to bring it up. I'm going to shoot a sighter. There's a bullet impact low right on that bar. I'm going to shoot at that. I think we're basically there. Obviously, the con, you know, they're all going to be expensive, but the company has packed up and moved. And they basically, from what I understand, have a whole new shop. So and nobody knows how that's going to affect the company overall. I'm not here to talk crap about the company. I really don't know what the deal is. But there's a lot of people in the precision rimfire world that are, off-right, not crazy happy with them as a company. But again, I'm not talking about the company with the rifle, but you know, this is kind of the rifle to compare other rifles against. I'm holding a little left for wind. Oh, I went exactly where I held. There we go. It's probably getting up to needing to be cleaned, but no problem with a 1/4 inch there. But from me as a shooter, not looking at the company, just owning this, it's a very hard action to compete against. Oh, that was just off left. Because it works. They kind of over-engineered the ignition. The ignition on this is never a problem. The action is butter smooth. There's no problem finding someone to smith a barrel to this. There's really no downside to this as an action. Like I said, your feelings about the company is probably the only reason not to buy a Voodoo. I mean, because as an action, as a rimfire, these are all really good. And I've had a ton of triggers. Today, these are all Timneys. This one and the Curtis both have the Timney 2-stage. Actually, I'm sorry. This one and the Rimx both have the Timney 2-stage. The Curtis has a Timney single stage, but these basically are all equally equipped. But yeah, it's super hard to compete against. This is just a rifle that just gets it done. I've shot a lot of matches with a Voodoo. Again, kind of probably a little dirty right now, needs to be clean. This is a fairly fresh setup with this barrel, and I've got probably 300 or 400 rounds on it. I haven't cleaned it, so that's on me. Anyway, next, closest to me is Curtis, so let's do that one. All right, same deal here. We're gonna shoot 2 groups with the Curtis. Now, this is another 60-degree action. There definitely are some pros and cons to this that we're gonna talk about. Again, also a shooter. This one is in a foundation stock rather than a chassis. Sure, one in here to burn. We're gonna take a shot at that same cider target. Hopefully all these are pretty close to being zeroed the same. We're about to find out. And using the same Voodoo mag, this one does have a DNT optic on it. All right, let's see. Single stage Timney. Okay, well, that cold bore was basically right where I aimed. See what happens. Okay, essentially no cold bore with this guy. Oh, little Voodoo mag hang up there. All right, let's stretch its legs out. I want to steal you guys away really quickly to let you know that we're now proudly sponsored by these guys, Saber Tactical. You guys have seen me test their products. I've used them before, but right now I've been testing this. You guys have seen it. This is definitely worth a look, especially if you have trouble using a rear bag. This rear rest is going to make your life a lot easier, but also, really notably, these weights. Check out their weights on their webpage. I'll link it down below or pin it in the comments, but what I look for is something that looks good, something that's finished well, comes with good hardware, and the dollar per pound of weight I'm spending. And if you look across the other companies making weights, especially in the precision rimfire, precision rifle world, these weights are a heck of a bargain for what they charge per pound. So each set is 1 pound. So it weighs more than most weights out there, especially for something this form factor. So really appreciate those guys helping us bring you guys content. If you want to thank them, you know what to do. Head over to the website. Let's get back to the video. Well, I just filmed the entire Curtis 100-yard pros and cons, but I guess we're going to do it again because I never moved my downrange camera off to 50 yards. So I was just over here yapping away and blasting away to 100 yards. And yeah, never to be seen. But anyway, the Curtis is going to be very Voodoo-like, a 60-degree bolt. Now it does have more cocking effort. This cocked on open, so, and it's noticeably different than the Voodoo. So it has, you feel the amount of cocking effort required, but the close is really nice. I mean, and the action is still really good. It's just a little bit more effort to open it, and you'll see it. It's not crazy, but I'm being nitpicky here because I can, and you know that's why you're watching this. You want someone to nitpick these things so you know what to do. All right, so you're gonna see me kind of run it here, but it runs really well. I mean, I've had really no issue with it. And this right here, so this, there's a little bit more cocking effort on open there than you would feel, but the close is stupid good. And I mean, the action feels really good. Not as smooth as the Voodoo 360. And this is a lot newer than that 360, but I don't think it'll, oh, just off left, ever be as smooth. There we go. 1/4 inch, I'm aiming just off right. But overall, really good action. Now, I ordered this and I waited a long time, like 4+ months to get this. So, oh, there we go. Little Voodoo mag issue there. Not that that's unheard of. But so there is a wait time, and this is not going to be as available. Dang, this mag just has more ammo in it than I thought. So you're not gonna find this laying around. I say laying around, you're not gonna find this as readily as you would a Voodoo or a Rimx, but there's people out there who don't wanna buy a Voodoo right now because the company moved around, did what they did. This may be a good option. This is another 60-degree bolt throw, very well made. Obviously these can be had as like a conversion, so you can buy a centerfire version. So you could buy a centerfire action from them with the rimfire conversion parts and have your gunsmith, you know, barrel both and shoot the same action across multiple different things. And again, it's not a bad action. It has really good coating on it. It is very smooth in the action. It's just more mechanical feeling than the Voodoo. And it's not bad. Like I said, I'm nitpicking this. It is not bad one little bit. I mean, it is really nice. You would be happy with this, but compared to my 360, it has a bunch of rounds in it. It just doesn't compare. And this, again, is newer, but I don't even think once it's broken in, you know, once it has a bunch of rounds, I don't think anything will ever be as smooth as my 360. But overall, really good ignition also. No problems with that. Shoot really low SD and ESs out of this rifle. Super easy to chamber, gonna be basically exactly like the Voodoo. You know, it's the same there. And I've never had any problems with triggers in this either. This is the second trigger I've had in it. Obviously, it's a Timney hit. I've had that 2-stage Timney in it. I've had Bix and Andes, those kind of things. Never had any issues with them. So I don't think you have to worry about that. A really good option at the end of the day, but let's look at the third one, the Rimx. Probably, yeah, the next biggest contender in this kind of market area. So this is a rifle that you guys are familiar with, especially been on the channel a while. This is my Mod X Rimx. So this is a modified Rimx. The standard Rimx bolt head has a fixed extractor. This has been basically converted to be Voodoo style extractors. This is very popular. Several gunsmiths doing this. So if it's something that you're interested in, I wouldn't let that hold you back from getting a Rimx, because if you're gonna have one, buy the action, get it custom smith. It's really not much more to get that done. And plenty of people shoot these without that. Something different that you're seeing for the first time is these magazines. So these are the Ultra Arms mags. These are expensive, but they're billet, they're purpose-made 15-round mags. And I will say this, if you're shopping around for Rimx magazines, you're gonna get the Rimx factory mag. If you do the factory mag plus the 5-round extension to have this amount of capacity, you're looking at 180 bucks. This is $200. You're getting a purpose-built magazine that's made for 15 rounds. It's not obnoxiously huge at the bottom. It's not going to be a pain that way. And it comes in a really crazy nice case. And I'll do a little short video on just these, but in case you guys were wondering, you're seeing them here like, hey, what's that mag? That's the mag. And it's you know, it's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's the freaking heat. These are the mags to have if you're shooting a Rimx. All right, we're going at the top left there for the cold bore. Okay, I think that went basically just where we're aiming there. We're gonna go and drop a row. Let's go to target 5. And I will say, the groups that are on the paper today are probably the high average out of all these rifles. I've owned these and shot these a bunch, and not a single one has shot a group that I would call normal or impressive for these. The groups we've seen today are kind of the groups that I see these rifles shoot kind of, you know, when they're ready to be cleaned or when conditions aren't great. Because typically all these rifles hammer, so I think this is probably a bunch of .3s. And again, you know, that's the high average for these things. Like that's like it's not been a good day or they need to be cleaned. But as you can see, at least we were able to look at these and you can see that, you know, they all perform basically equally well. You know, it's really going to depend on ammo. All right, so pros, cons on the Rimx. Big pro, you can pick these actions up a lot of places. Like the actions are readily available. So that's always good. They do take a pre-fit design, especially if you're gonna stay with the way they come, which is totally fine. I just want ultimate reliability. That's why I went with the converted bolt head for this. But pre-fit available, which is another big pro. Another pro to these would be the build quality, the tolerances, because they're built for pre-fits. The tolerances are going to be tighter on the Rimx. Like the action-to-action tolerances are way tighter than a Voodoo. The Voodoos can be all over the place. You as an end user, you're not going to see it as much, especially if you're getting it custom barreled. It's not really going to matter. But the Rimx has some really, really, really tight actions. We're going to go at that bottom right, kind of where we were on the other ones. Okay, close enough. A hair low, hair left. But yeah, that's a big pro. Con is, I would put this action in the middle of the two, between the Voodoo and the Curtis. This is a really good action. Mine is really slick. You can see how well this thing operates. But if you're shooting it as bought, the fixed extractor can lead to some heartburn. It can lead to some issues. And it's just not quite as smooth as my Voodoo 360. And I want to be clear that my Voodoo 360 is probably the smoothest action I've ever felt. I mean, even other Voodoo 360s don't compare. This Rimx action is really good. It probably is really comparable to a lot of Voodoo actions. But there's a slight feeling difference. You get a slight, almost like, oh, that was right where I was aiming. Almost a slight hitch, if that makes sense. There's like a mechanical kind of hitch when you start cocking back the firing pin. And you don't feel that on the Voodoo, but this gun is just a freaking beast. I mean, making stupid easy work of this thing. Oh, just off right. Let's put a little group out there, actually. This is at 100 yards, obviously. Pretty tidy. Would look worse on paper for sure, but I don't want to throw paper down there. You can definitely see where I'm hitting a little low and a hair left for sure. But yeah, this thing is just really nice. And look, guys, if you're in the market for these, any of them are really gonna be excellent choices. Obviously, there's reasons to buy or not buy any of these three. To be totally honest with you, after this, I don't think I'm any closer to figuring out what we gotta do. So part 2 coming. I'm gonna go to my buddy Len's house in the next week or two, and we're gonna shoot these things at distance. I'll bring the scope camera out. We're gonna shoot them at like 200 and 300 yards, and then we'll see what shakes out there. You know, they're all shooting really good at 50. I really kind of feel bummed out that the groups, those are really, quite honestly, kind of the high end of the groups that these rifles shoot. Basically, these rifles shoot 1s and 2s pretty much all the time. And maybe it's just because they didn't have a lot of heat in the barrel, but I felt like it was fair to aim at a fixed point and shoot our cold bore, just get it out of the group. But we can see which one had the most shift. That was the Voodoo. The Curtis and the Rimx didn't have much cold bore shift at all because we aimed at that little circle. That's basically where we hit. And then we shot 2 5-shot groups. So we're not getting a lot of heat in the barrel, but that's, I think, more fair than me shooting these a bunch and kind of, you know, getting the barrel heat up and getting it kind of warmed up, you know, because I hadn't shot these at all. Those were the first rounds out of these today. So that's kind of how I wanted to do this for my own personal knowledge. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Part 2 coming. We're going to do the long distance on these guys. And hopefully, you know, well, you're probably like me. You probably got more questions than answers out of this. But I had never seen a YouTube video with all 3 of these, with a Voodoo, the Curtis, and the Rimx, all on one video. One guy shooting them, one guy's opinion. Take it or leave it. I appreciate you watching. Catch you on the next one.